Hey, so I'm riding my summer bike, my usual, what is called touring bike, preferred bike, my favorite. And the drivetrain is almost done, guys. Like, it was just the other day that I received an 8-speed cassette for the rear. Then I had to fix up the wheel that I got. It was a good used wheel, and now I'm riding. Just trying to get some footage off the drivetrain at work. Yeah, excuse the sound, it's kind of windy here. It's more windy than I like it to be for a bike ride, but what can I do? I'm of course in the river valley on a bumpy trail. It's paved here, but it's still bumpy. I think this trail was due for an overhaul. They started paving part of it up there where I just came from last year or the year before. Well, the purpose of this ride, to tell you the truth, is really nothing but to try out what I did this afternoon earlier. And if you think it was just popping in the wheel and putting the chain back on, well, no, it was a little bit more. And by the way, the chain that I'm still running, it's the old one. The new one hasn't arrived yet. It's on order. But, you know, it's not worn out to the point where it'd be prohibitive to use it. So, I'm still running the old chain until I get a new one. Now, you want to see what I did this afternoon? My name is George, this is my channel, and today we're going to fix my bicycle. Now, I don't know if you've seen the video I did last time. I just finished it last night, actually. It's just right now sitting on my computer, nothing's edited. But I want to go on, and in order to share this, I'm going to record everything and make it into part 2. So, what we've done so far, I have swapped my wheel on my bicycle, on the rear wheel, because I couldn't put a cassette on the old wheel. Mind you, that wasn't the reason. The reason was that the old wheel's just worn out, and the one I happen to have has a free hub instead of a regular hub, and it receives a cassette instead of a freewheel. So I have ordered the cassette. Happens to be an 8-speed one, which is not something I'm used to, but I'm okay with it for a couple of reasons. Number one is the width of the 8-speed and the 7-speed is virtually the same. They're just spaced differently. And the other reason is, like, see the way these are spaced? The chain is there on the third one, the third granny gear, but it's like an even spacing, whereas the old one from the granny gear to the next lowest one was like huge. So this one, it's a bit more even, and the way these teeth are shaped, it should be really smooth shifting. What do you think? Even it claims that you can shift while you're already going up a hill or something like that, like with the pressure on it when you're in motion. I don't know, I'm gonna have to try that out. So the wheel's in there, as you can see. It fits nicely now. It's pretty well centered. So the next thing that I have to do on this is to make sure the wheel is just about as true as it could be. I think it's pretty close. It's pretty close. I don't need a truant stand. I can do this by using either the brake pads, by locking them in a certain position, or if that doesn't seem to work really well and I use zip ties and I put them on the seat stays, and I cut them off just at the right distance so I can judge how much the rim moves to one side or another. Pretty simple actually. So I'm gonna start doing that. And once the wheel is where I like it, then we're gonna put the tire on and we're gonna see how the rest of it all falls into place. All right, what I'm trying to do is find the spot on the rim here that is more toward you right now. That I put my screwdriver here. I think it's just about there. What I want to do right now, because the brakes have to be readjusted anyways, need to get the 10 mil and the Allen key to try and push this right up against the rim. So I'm going to loosen the pad right here. So I'm just going to push this right through so it touches the rim. And now tighten this again. Yeah, this is a temporary setting just because I need to verify, or I want to true the wheel as good as I possibly can. So this is just all kind of made up as I go, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the most precise. I can still see where it's getting much closer, and that's where I'm gonna start from. Right there. Can you see that? How this is much closer than the rest of it? Well, if I mark this right here, then it gives me an indication just about where I start adjusting. What I need to determine is which spokes need to be adjusted. So it depends on which side they're coming from. The rim needs to be pushed away from what you see right now. There's this spoke right here. It's actually got a little nick in it by the looks of it. So maybe there was some force involved at some point. So it's definitely this, and this one I wouldn't even touch. We're going to start with a quarter turn on each one, and I'll show you what's the thing to consider. By the way, I have made sure that those spokes are all reasonably tight. I don't have an exact way of measuring that. I just do it by squishing them, like, you know. To maintain even tension on the rim, I back off the spoke that is between the two that I tightened, that comes from the other side, by an equal amount. Sometimes there's only one spoke to tighten, in which case I will go the adjacent ones and back them off just about half of the amount I tightened the first one. Sometimes it takes way more than quarter turns to true the rim, but it's always best to go in small increments so you can catch mistakes and correct them before they become big. Little by little does the trick. So guys, this is not rocket science, but your brain can play tricks on you. I got it as close as I care to adjust it. Want to have a look? I don't know how well you can see this, but there might be a tiny little bit of a wobble. But this, remember, it's not a brand new rim, and it's like less than a millimeter variation, so I call it good. Well, the next step is take out the wheel and prepare it for the tire and everything. So guys, while you weren't watching, I installed the tire, and I'm now ready to install the entire wheel. Forgive me for that. I figured you already know how to install a tire on a rim, and if not, then I probably can find you a video that explains it in detail. The wheel is exactly where it needs to be. Now it's time to check the gears. Will the derailleur shift the way it's supposed to? Pay close attention here because we're trying to go from 6 speed to 8. And as you may notice, we're still a 6 speed at this point. Something needs to happen. So the shifter happens to be a friction shifter, which means there's no adjustment. There's no click, click, click. I don't have to mess around with it for hours. It's just going to be my thumb that's going to determine how far the chain is going to move and on what sprocket it's going to be. So I totally love this. The only thing that I have to do is I have to change the adjustment of the limit screws on the rear derailleur because it doesn't engage the highest nor the lowest gear. So this is what I gotta do. It's gotta reach here and it's gotta reach there. So there are limit screws here. They probably haven't been used for a while, and I gotta look at this from the bottom. See, it's now at the lowest gear that it'll reach the way it is. Now if I move the derailleur there, so this means that this screw is for the highest gear. Should I say highest? Lowest, actually. This is the climbing gear. So the other one is on the top here, and that has to be backed out a little bit in order to get the derailleur to come outside a bit more. Just got to find the right screwdriver for it now. The adjustment was as simple as backing off that screw. Now some really old derailleurs may have a limited range. You may run into trouble if you add more gears, but here it worked okay. And then I always like to check it several times to make sure it's reliable. The other screw was the exact same way. Back it off to widen the range. If you notice that the derailleur is hanging in a weird way here, you'd be correct. There was something preventing it from pivoting freely. I had that figured out later. However, it didn't affect the adjustment, which was nothing more than just backing it off a little bit more. And a little bit more still. Finally, all the gears worked the way they were supposed to. To run a quick test, you can put the chain in the middle chain ring in the front and shift through the whole range, or just shift it through the gears the way you would on the road. As I'm doing this, I'm also finding that I need to adjust the front derailleur limit screws as well, because I had on occasion the problem that if I push it too far, the chain would come off the chain wheel in the front when I'm climbing a hill. Of course, it's annoying. Finally, I'm taking care of it. So guys, the next thing that I'm doing is brake pads in the back, because I got them. They're Jaguar brand. I don't know if that's any good. I had really nice ones in the back at first. I mean, previously, still on here, but they're getting worn out, so it's time to replace them. I only need the Allen key to position them. It's this 10 mil that does it. Leave everything on there. So you just pull it right out. Put the new one in there. Like so. Yeah, it's got spring tension on there, of course. But I'm just going to put them pretty flat. Sometimes you can have them a little bit toe in, so that when the wheel turns this way, the front portion of the brake hits it first. It helps them brake in and prevents squeaking, I think. It's just preliminary adjustment. Right now it's got a little bit of toe in. I can just do that on the fly here. So I got both sides in. They could be closer this way, but I don't mind it like this. This all looks good. Now I can't get the cable in. That's in part because I backed off the barrel adjuster all the way when I was doing the truing. Now I'm going to put this back in. So guys, brakes are good. For the moment, this bike is done. I'm actually going to go change and stuff, and I'm going to get my other camera. I'm actually going to go... Timing was almost perfect. The battery died. Is it dead? Yeah. I did some adjusting on the front derailleur too, because on occasion I had the chain jumping off when shifting down. So that's everything I did for now. I have to admit that switching to this cassette seems like it was a good choice. The jumps aren't as much. On the old one, I had a jump from 24 teeth to 34, I think. So even with the long derailleur, it was kind of a huge jump, so you had to push the shifter really hard to get into that gear. Mind you, you get used to that stuff, right? So it didn't make a difference for me, but riding this now, it goes from 28 to 32. I don't have a 34 no more. I think 32 is fine. But it goes super smooth. The bicycle is fine. I am very happy about it. It's just, you know, a few hours, really, a few hours of paying attention. Now, what I still have to do is touch up the frame. But I think I'm probably just going to put rust converter on it for now and then go with the brush, you know, touch it up for now. Worry about a new paint job maybe next year, or we'll see how this goes. It's not important, you know, as long as it doesn't rust on me, I don't care really anymore. If you have a pretty bike, then people are after it. This thing, I think I'm stuck with it, and that's the way it should be. And I thank you very much for watching this video. There's another one here that you could watch right now. I think it's there, or maybe here, or maybe this one is for subscribing. That's good too.